So the first book we'll be reading right here, Let Them. Okay, the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. She's a fantastic person. She has struggled greatly in her past with anxiety, with stress. She had this most beautiful life of, career woman and losing things and gaining things, and she turned her life around and also turned a lot to research. What I love about her is she's very research backed. One of the most famous things that people know about is the reticular activating system, which is basically a filter in your brain. We get millions and billions and trillions of impressions every second. Where do we look? What do we look at? And how do we interpret it? This idea that, oh, if I think life is terrible, well, that's what you're going to see. Because the brain likes to make things automatic. The brain likes to preserve energy. And so any way it can preserve energy, it will do that. And one of the ways is to make sure you have a filter in place that makes navigating the world possible, because we cannot possibly have the influx of information be constant and total. It cannot be. So needs to be a filter. That's what the reticular activating system in the brain does. And you are the one that programs it. If you think, life is great and people are fine and wonderful and just great, you go through the world and you see those interactions. You see when people are nice, and that's what registers. And it's automatic. Most of what we do in life, how we act, is automatic. And so she really talked about that. That's one of the most famous things you also hear. And this research-backed self-improvement attitude is fantastic. And she's a lovely woman. Look at her. Mel Robbins. Stunning. Okay, blonde hair, glasses, great smile. So I'll read what's on the back so we get an idea what this is about, okay? 2 simple words will change how you think about your entire life. If you're struggling to achieve your goal or feel a little happier, the problem isn't you. The problem is the power you give to other people. In this book, you learn how 2 words, let them, can set you free from the opinions, drama, and judgment of others, free from the exhausting cycle of trying to manage everything and everyone around you. Very stoic mindset as well, If there are things you can change, great, do that. But some things you can't change, so why bother? Why bother? There's a better way to live. The Let Them theory is a proven method that teaches you how to protect your time and energy and focus on what matters most to you. You've spent too long chasing approval, managing other people's happiness, and letting their opinions hold you back. Learn how to stop giving your power away and start creating a life where you come first. Your dreams, your goals, your happiness. This, by the way, is a fantastic theme as well to ponder upon, because there's this attitude that can quickly come in and say, oh, well, you're just being selfish. But, in the end, great British saying, you cannot pour from an empty, what is it? Cup, right? You cannot pour from an empty cup. But I don't know why in my mind it's a kettle. Like I think of like a teapot. Anyways. So actually, if you focus on yourself, your happiness, you come first, man, that's when you can help others. If you are in your power, bam, you are such a more valuable asset to everyone around you. So this is again another thing during this time, this channel, I read things and I share things and it's fantastic, wonderful, but then I share my own attitudes towards it, my own thoughts. I want you to be engaged as well. What do you think? Do you agree with what I say? Do you think what I say makes sense? Or do you think I'm lacking something? Please share. This is what it's about, okay? There's not one answer. Sometimes you could say there's an answer, there's one truth, but other times, man, it's perspectives, different opinions. Okay, so your dreams, your goals, your happiness. Let Them is a simple tool that millions of people around the world can't stop talking about because it works. The fastest way to take control of your life is to stop trying to control other people and focus on what you can control, yourself. Right, but can we? This is it. This is something to start practicing in life and getting better at. A lot of people, they're lacking this sense of control because we think our attitudes, our attention is just being driven. It's like we're like a seaweed, in the current, and we're just being blown away by the wind, dragged by the current. And there's a moment when you realize, you know what, we can, you and I, we can guide our attention. We can observe thoughts and realize, you know what, maybe that thought coming up is actually not mine. It pops up. It comes from somewhere. We don't need to believe it. This is such a beautiful thing to think about. We don't need to believe the thoughts that come up, okay? So yes, One thing we can control is ourselves, 100%. But we also need to acknowledge that a lot of people don't have that skill yet. It's a skill that needs to be built, and that can be quite challenging. Okay, fantastic though. Okay, last line here in beautiful yellow. By letting other people live their lives, you finally get to live yours. Mel. Fabulous. Okay. If you're interested, follow this account. We'll be sharing things. This is not a reading from the book. I'll be reading it and I'll be sharing some interesting ideas from it, and anything I find valuable, I'll be connecting the dots and packaging it up, and hopefully things that are easy to digest, that are interesting to digest. And yeah, fantastic. Follow along.